That motherfucker.
Try your love one more time. You hurt me when you left me. Now 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 you hurt me when you left me.
We're brothers. We're happy and we're singing and we're colored. Give me a high five.
Oh, I gotta
Free my
take
whole
this
bag.
off. I left this thing on. It is what it is. I'm an Eagles fan. This is what we do at this point. You know what I'm saying? Everything's in shambles. Everything's in shambles. But what's going on, you guys? It's your boy Joe Castro, aka Philly Fresco, here with my brothers from another's and mothers. Y'all know how it goes down. I got my guy Big Game James, and the guy that is so happy on the bottom right there. He is so happy, and he's a good friend of ours. We're actually friends off this, but it hurts me to see how he's so happy about these Commanders. My guy.
That's all a little bit different. Our intro feels pretty good. We're walking into our 4-2 record right now. Feeling pretty nice. Feeling nice and good right here over here in DC.
What's going on, James? Man, how you doing, brother?
I mean, I'm chilling. You know what I'm saying? Another day, another dollar. Just had my
Do we all?
birthday.
Okay.
Just had my birthday a couple days ago, so I'm feeling good. You know, getting up there. But you know, we got to buy and thank God.
Happy birthday, man. You know,
Happy
what's
birthday, bro.
better?
Yeah.
What's better than watching the Cowboys get blown out? It felt like a birthday for me too. Hey, look,
I was on Jerry Jones' birthday, believe it or not. Yeah, he lost on his birthday.
yeah, no, that's tough.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this: the Eagles are not looking good. As much as we are not looking good, and we had a struggle match against the Browns, I'm happy we won. I'm happy that Jalen Hurts didn't turn the ball over. I'm happy that this defense didn't let Deshaun Watson look like he just came out of the massage parlor against us. He was stressed. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm happy that we at least looked like a football team this week against the Giants. I'm gonna live by the same thing I said to you, George, and I'm gonna say the same thing to you, James. When y'all play them, y'all better beat them Giants. So we better beat them Giants. But yeah, I mean, it's a crazy juxtaposition about emotions, right? I won't say emotions, maybe that's the wrong word, but just feeling about their team. I think we're all in different places with our team. So we'll start with you, George, because I feel like, you know, it's time we give you the, you know, it's time we really give you the big boy seat, man. Y'all been showing up and showing out. So I'll start with you. Talk to me, as much as I'm going to hate that I'm saying this, about your division leading Washington Commanders and just the vibe. And because I mean, I think it's deeper than just the wins, right?
Yeah.
You guys have a whole different culture. Talk to me what's going on over there, and then we'll get into the doom and gloom that is, I guess, the rest of the NFC East right now.
It feels pretty good over here, man. I'm not gonna lie. The Commanders are actually looking pretty healthy for years and years and years after being on the dumpster, being in the basement of the NFC East. We're starting to get some credibility now, and we talked about it offline a little bit. It's like you have to hit the reset button when things go really bad, right? So, new head coach, new offensive coordinator, new GM, new owner. All of those things, getting a quarterback changes the game. And you guys have quarterbacks. You know, hopefully they bounce back and hopefully they can kind of turn your seasons around. But we finally got one, and I think it's nice to have it. And being at 4-2, we feel pretty damn good. You know, last week was a great game. It was a big national game. I don't know if the game in your area, but like Ravens and Commanders was on TV. It was a big around here. I live in Maryland. I'm a DC fan, obviously. I went to the game. That game was popping off. It was a lot of fun, actually. Had a really good time. It was two of the most exciting quarterbacks in the league right now. Even though we lost and we were 4-2, it felt good. We were basically it was 30-23. It was a pretty competitive game going back and forth. The Ravens are for real, man. They're starting to turn on right now. We can talk about that. But, you know, running game, Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson going crazy. So anyways, man, feeling good. Hopefully we can stay healthy. I think our team is set up for success and has a nice little – we're probably at the inside track on the NFC East, boys, so we can talk about that later on in this episode. So
no, we're going to talk about that now. I'm a betting man, and I know everybody in here bets. I want to ask y'all all, because I was looking at the NFC East odds, all right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm in Florida, obviously, so I only have Hard Rock. That's the only
Gotcha.
So it might be different where you are, but right now they got Commanders at 120, Eagles at 135 plus 120, 135, and then the Cowboys at plus 425, and the New York Giants at plus 5,000.
Jesus. Okay.
I guess we don't have to talk about the Giants, but I mean, how do y'all feel? I guess we'll go to you next, James. How do you feel about your team? Do you think that's a fair assessment? They have you basically finishing in third with a plus 400 chance. So how do you feel about your team? Do you feel like there's a turnaround? Because I know I see it all on Twitter. I see people upset, and we're upset as fans, but sometimes we look deeper. Do you think there is a deeper with this team, or is it just kind of, I mean, what is it? I don't even know what else to call it.
I called it lame duck.
Yeah.
I didn't call it anything else. I said it was going to be a lame duck season as soon as it was over with the Green Bay Packers. I said that, and it hasn't. My stance has not changed from that. Lame duck season, the start of it, and when you see it happening, yeah, they're going to probably win some games because of talent, but those tough games, I don't see it. And all the disarray that was hidden is starting to come out, and it's coming out with the owner. And that always trickles down. And just when you have a rash of injuries out of nowhere, the key players, coach under turmoil, now the owner, where do you think that's a successful season comes out of that? Where have I seen the Dallas Cowboys rise above controversy and adversity, and when it happens like that? When have I seen them rise above this? So what leads me to believe that they're going to come out of this and do that? Could they win the division? It could be, but it'll be by default. It'll be because other teams are not playing well. I don't feel like it's because Dallas is going to all of a sudden take it by the horns and do it. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it for a long time, so I'm not going to think it is. Do I still think they can make the playoffs? Yes, but I don't think they're going to win the division. Not in my opinion, unless other teams falter. That's my just thoughts of it.
Yeah, your sound is Steve said your sound's a little low and a little choppy.
All right,
So
I might come out of this and just go on my speaker because I'm on my phone. I'm out. So hold on.
Yeah, no worries. But yeah, no, I mean, it's weird. Yeah, and I'll kind of parlay this into the Eagles, because if you look at the Eagles, we're kind of in a very similar situation. I know I've seen this on Twitter. Jay Tuck likes to get people upset, and he basically said that we're basically the same, just different colored jerseys, which he's not wrong. I've seen some people, getting mad that he said that, but he's not 100% wrong. And I've said this on here. I think me and James have had this conversation plenty of times. We've been in very similar situations as far as the outcomes of our season, as far as the lack of, I don't even know what to really call it. Just the questioning of our ownership, I guess, sometimes. And I know that the Eagles have Howie Roseman. We're happy with him and stuff. I'm going to say this off the rip, and I haven't seen a lot of people saying this, but this is my opinion. I think that the Eagles have an ownership problem. I think that they have an identity problem that is because of their ownership. Their ownership, and this is Jeffrey Lurie, Howie Roseman, they want to be Kansas City so bad that they're not realizing who they have as their quarterback. And that's not no knock on Jalen Hurts. And I know a lot of people are going to, twist that and turn it into, oh, Jalen's not a real quarterback. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that he has a he has an elite tool. Him as a runner is an elite weapon. That's an elite tool. And you need to utilize that. That should be, and you also have a top 10, I think it's fair to say, if not top 5 by the end of the season, running back. Why not utilize him? You have a top 5 offensive line that likes to road grade. They've told you before. They like to run the ball. It's not just Nick. I think that Nick is an issue in certain areas. I think that Jalen Hurts is an issue in certain areas. I think that when you look at what they're doing as ownership, that's the big problem. That's the big problem. When you as ownership aren't realizing that, hey, I have a guy that can go out there and run for 800 yards, 16 touchdowns. Why not use that? Why are you trying to make him throw the ball 40 times a game? It just doesn't make sense.
Joe, why is it ownership? I'm kind of curious about that. Like, you are obviously a Philly fan. You're more dialed into me. You always hear the Eagles are the class of the league and everything's run so well, and Howie Roseman's a genius, yada yada. All these accolades. But why is the ownership an issue over there in Philadelphia?
And I want to clarify. I don't think it's an issue as far as like, oh, we need him out. I think it's a different feeling as far as the Cowboys, like that, I think the Cowboys want to see Jerry Jones gone. My thing is that our ownership is so hard-headed about what they want to be. They don't allow coaches to come in here and run the show. They have coaches that come in here that are either guys that are just going to do exactly what they want, or guys that they understand, do already exactly what they want. So like they want guys that are going to throw the ball. That's what they want. They want a highly potent offense when it comes to throwing the ball. We've seen it with Doug. We've seen it now with Nick Sirianni. We saw it with Chip Kelly. He was throwing the ball a lot. And then when he got too much power, we made the playoffs 3 times in a row. It didn't look pretty. It wasn't perfect. There was a lot of mistakes. There was a lot of things wrong with Chip Kelly as a coach and a GM. But we saw it with him. We saw it at the end with Andy Reid. When you don't have a quarterback that's Patrick Mahomes, it doesn't make sense to ask him to be Patrick Mahomes. You know what I'm saying? You look at Lamar Jackson, you look at Jaden Daniels, they have offenses that are built around their skill set. We have never done that with Jalen Hurts. We've never done that.
So you think the owner has that much sway in the play calling and the way things run? Why do you say that?
Maybe not play calling, but he's telling them. There was a rumor, and more and more that years pass on, I believe it, because there was a rumor, and this I think was in the Doug Peterson era. We beat the Green Bay Packers. We weren't favored in that game. We beat them by running the ball. We ran it down their throats, right? And there was a rumor right after that game that the ownership, that Jeffrey Lurie was upset that we ran the ball so much.
Yeah.
I believe that. I believe that. And the more that you look at what happens with our coaches and the more that you look at the issues that fans are talking about, we've been saying run the damn ball since Doug was a head coach, since Andy was a head coach.
Yeah.
So what's the common denominator at this point? Brandon Graham? Is it Brandon? You know what I'm saying? Like nobody else has been on the team that long. So I don't know. That's just how I feel. That's how I feel. I think it's different for Cowboys fans. I think how they feel about Jerry Jones, and I get it. You know what I'm saying? I think it's a little bit different. But with me, it's like, bro, just get your hand out the pot, understand who you have, and let's let that be our identity. It just doesn't make sense. So, that's how I feel.
Coming from an owner that was really hands-on and telling the head coach what to do, that's a pretty dangerous place to be, Joe. Hopefully it's not happening for you like that, man. That's tough.
And Trey saying, y'all run the tush push. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. Trey in rare form already. I just survived the hurricane. Trey.
Yeah,
I ain't trying to deal with that. Man, I was kidding. But I mean, it is what it is. We look at this NFC East. We look at where everybody is. And yeah, I do think that the Washington Commanders are in a very good spot for now in the future. But I will say, and this I told you right before the show, I was going to bring this up. I do not see y'all winning the division. I do still think that the Eagles win this division. I wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles still sweep y'all. I like y'all. I think y'all good. But the Eagles are very talented, and the Eagles are young as well. We are getting in our own way in a lot of ways. So I have full faith that the Eagles turn that around. I'm going to say that. And I'm gonna say that with my chest. I truly believe that.
I think Washington's gonna win the division. I honestly do believe that with all my heart. I think we got it now. I think things are looking pretty good. Looking at the actual breakdown, right? No offense, James. I think the Cowboys are kind of in trouble with their schedule coming up, man. They got the 49ers coming up, the Falcons coming up, the Eagles coming up, the Texans, Commanders, and Giants. Like realistically, depending on where they're at, I don't know which game they're going to be favored in regard to that, right? Like even they're actually 0-3 at home. So that's something that's kind of eye-opening for the Cowboys. So I don't know what's going to happen there. But I want you all to put respect on the Commanders' name. The Commanders is the only team in the division with positive point differential right now. We have 178 points scored, the second best offense in the entire NFL behind the Ravens. The Eagles right now are -6 points against. They basically are losing right now, and the Cowboys are -42. And it's convenient. James actually left when I said that. minus 42 points scored for the Cowboys. So honestly, besides blind faith and tradition, I don't know where the Eagles. I mean, I think the Eagles are more competitive in regard to our division now, but I think that Washington got the inside track. I think it's going to be health, and our defense is going to basically hold us down moving forward. We gotta watch out for our defense. I'm trying to say. I'm worried about our defense. Our offense is pretty good.
Y'all look good. Y'all look all right. Who have y'all played though?
I mean, y'all.
Go ahead.
Y'all got. You still got to understand. Y'all got a young quarterback. Okay. You're still. Like I said, if you win the division, it's because the other teams fell off. It's not just
Okay.
because you were inordinately better than the teams that you're beating or may
So we're not
leapfrog.
good. You guys are falling off, is what you're trying to say. Is that
That's what I'm
what's going on?
saying. You guys
Is that
are.
what
I mean, what I'm saying
Okay.
is, I like the direction. I like the ownership. But if Dallas was handling their business with their talent, and Philadelphia is handling their business with their talent, you're going to struggle. I don't care what you tell me. Your quarterback's going to struggle. That's going to
That's
happen.
what I'm saying.
But
Nah.
because Dallas is in this lame duck year, this is your opportunity to take it. Because Philly is, in my opinion, they're okay. They're not great. They could still win the division on talent, but they could also lose it because their coach is goofy.
Mhm.
So, you know what I mean?
I don't
This
know
is
why
where it's
everybody
kind
hates
of
my
a
coach.
default year for you. Your RG3 year.
I agree, though. I agree. I'll keep it quick. I agree. I think that you guys, if you guys beat us, is because of us, not because of you. I think we are still a more talented team than you guys.
Okay.
I'm not saying that you guys are trash and all this is for nothing. I think that you guys have a great future. I think you guys figured it out. Losing Dan Snyder, you have a great quarterback, a very interesting offensive, scheme and everything. I like you guys. I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
But the Eagles are more talented.
You guys are further along the line in regard to team building, right? That's kind of where you're at right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, my question is, why isn't it being put together right now? I'm looking at it right now. The Eagles have the 18th ranked offense in the league. That's lower half of the league right now, and you guys have all that talent. What would you attest to that? You have Saquon Barkley, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, and Jalen Hurts. What's going on right now, Joe?
Well, we haven't had AJ Brown for a couple games. We didn't
Okay.
have Devontae for a game. We didn't have Lane for a couple games.
Mhm.
There's been a lot of injuries, but that's not an excuse. It's just saying.
Mhm.
I think the Yankees just got a hit. Did they just hit a home run? Yankees just had 2 home runs back to back. Talk to me. I'm sorry. Anyways, I'm sorry, you guys. But no, I go back to the ownership. I really do. I really do. And I know that sounds, and I'm not sitting here saying Jeffrey Lurie needs to go sell the team. I'm not saying that.
Mhm.
You have to look at the pattern. After a while, come on. I mean, if
Your
if
coaches are goofy, bro.
but we've been complaining about the same thing since our last coach. So when our next coach comes in, he's going to be just.
Saying?
I get
Your
it. You don't
coaches
like.
out
I get
there-
people don't like his attitude. I get people don't
I
like
ain't
how
even
he
liking
acts.
the attitude. Like, isn't he yelling at your fans? Like,
Yeah. What's
it
up with
just
that,
feel
Joe? What
like-
happened with that?
I love
it
that.
just feel
I
like
love that.
You love it.
I love
Okay.
that. That's Philly, bro. People are yelling at him, yell back, and he wasn't yelling at him like, "Oh, shut the hell up." He was like, "What's up? What's up? We won. We won." That's who he is. It is what it is. That has nothing to do with this team. That has nothing to do with the team not running Saquon Barkley.
Is he on the hot seat, Joe?
Oh, hell yeah. But
Okay.
that's you're on the hot seat every year if you're a Philadelphia Eagles coach. I mean, it is what it is. We fired a coach a year after he won us a Super Bowl. Like
Mhm.
it is what it is. I think that Eagles fans understand what they want, but they keep on blaming the wrong person. Nick Sirianni, yes, you have blame in it too. At the end of the day, you call the plays. Jalen Hurts calls a lot of audibles. Jalen Hurts calls a lot of plays at the line, and that's coming out more and more and more. So he has a hand in it. And I'm not saying it's all his fault, but we've been seeing this since it was Carson, since it was Jalen, since it was Sam Bradford, Mike Vick. Like, you can go down the line. We were like, why aren't we running the ball more?
Mhm.
So it's not just Nick. And I understand he is a problem now. But once he goes, we're going to be dealing with the same thing. So it comes down to this for me. It does. And this is going to sound real blunt and maybe kind of stupid, but this is what it comes down to for me. You're either going to get yourself a quarterback that does what you want him to do in the way that a Jalen Hurts cannot do, because he's not a pass. He's not I don't want to say he's not a passer. He can throw the ball. Okay. He's not Patrick Mahomes. He's not Aaron Rodgers. He's not Tom Brady. That's not who he is. So if you want he's not Drew Brees. If you want a guy that's going to throw for 5,000 yards, go get you one. Or understand we're probably going to be able to run for 5,000 yards before we can throw for 5,000 yards. So that's what it comes down to me. As an ownership and organization, understand what you have or go get what you want.
Marcus brought up a good point. He says you have Kellen Moore. That's why you're not running the ball more. James, do you agree with that? Is that true?
I'm not going to really say that because when we had Kellen Moore, we had one of the top 5 rushing offenses in his tenure. So I'm not going to say that. It's when he runs the ball. That's the problem. It's not that he doesn't run the ball; it's when he runs it. And you could be running the ball down a team's throat, destroying them, and then all of a sudden he'll go 5 passes out of nowhere and do goofy plays, and you're like, why'd you just stop running? You were just destroying his team. You had him on the ropes. Then all of a sudden you went for a goofy bomb at no, and it's the time you did it. It's not saying that you can't be tricked. It's like, why right now? You rocking the way you're doing it. You don't need to do that right now. And that's why I call Kellen a goofy, because he did goofy things at the inopportune time. You had Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard. They both almost hit 1,000 yards, I think, under his last year. But there were games where you'd be like, why isn't Tony Pollard getting the ball? He clearly can run on this team. Why aren't you really using this run game to really help Dak out right now? And that's what we talked about, the problems with him and Dak, because you're trying to throw the ball all the time. Are you trying to prove something with Dak? Or are you trying to prove yourself with a coordinator? It's like, be smart with this. And that's what Kellen was. But I never hated Kellen, but he was a goofy.
I don't hate her. He's just goofy. And I feel you, but he does do that. That happens in Philadelphia. I'm not going to deny that, but that happened last year. That happened the year before. That's the thing, man. I get it, bro. Like, we can blame every coach that we have, but we're gonna hire the same exact type of coaches. Nothing is gonna change. Nothing is gonna change. We're gonna fire Nick and find another Nick. That's what the Eagles have been doing. So if as Eagles fans, I know, and I'm going to assume that you guys don't want us to change that anytime soon. But as Eagles fans, if you really want change, it has to start at the top. The mentality, the philosophy of what you want to be has to change. That's really what it comes down to me for. Because I think Jalen could be a good quarterback in this league, a great one.
Joe, what's the percentage of Sirianni as a coach next year for the Eagles?
I think that's tied to our success. So, if we make it to the championship game, he'll be the head coach. If we don't, I would give him about, I would say, like 30%. That's what I was
about to say. That's good. That he will be the coach next year. 30%. Damn. Okay. All right.
I agree. I still say he's getting fired.
And I will say, just because you look at the coaches that are going to most likely be ready by next year, like you're going to assume that Ben Johnson probably wants to move on. You're going to assume that, the guy from the Texans moves on. Like, you're going to assume that a lot of these guys are going to be available. And there's some really good names out there, I think, personally. I don't want Bill Belichick. I don't want Vrabel.
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
I think some of the young guys that you got out there, I think they could be really interesting. And even some of the guys that make sense for the Eagles. Like, excuse me, if you wanted to go in the same direction that you already are, you look at the Kansas City Chiefs. I forget his last name, Joe something. He's like their passing game coordinator. He used to be
talking about.
He used to be a intern for the Eagles. Mm-hmm. He's a random guy that makes sense for the Eagles. He worked with, obviously, Patrick Mahomes for a long time, worked with a lot of wide receivers, Tyreek Hill and on. So, he makes sense, but like, that's the type of guy we're going to get. We're not going to get a, top coordinator. So they're going at you, James. I see James like, oh, here it comes.
No, I ain't worried about it because, like I told everybody, I'm the pessimistic content creator. That hurt my feelings.
I feel that. Hey, shut up. I want to ask you, but can I frisbee that question to James? How confident are you? Because I've been saying it for the past 3 years that Mike McCarthy was going to be gone. Like I've said every year, I was like, it's going to be it. This is last year. So I've been hating. But this year, how confident are you that Mike McCarthy comes back?
Oh, he's not coming back.
No chance.
I'm not going to say no chance because I can't predict the future. If I had to, I'm going to say 95%.
I agree with that. Like, I don't see a chance. Why would he stay, James? What would he have to do to stay?
Bring him back now?
Yeah, because isn't his contract up at the end of the year too? His contract's up at the end of the year, right? So they have to re-sign him, and I don't think he's done anything to get re-signed, right? Like, there's nothing to be proud of right now, right? A couple playoff wins. Like, what would it take for him to stay?
At least, right?
The only thing that's really saving him right now, because he had the 3 straight 12-win seasons. Mm-hmm. That's what everybody's kind of living off of. Mm-hmm. But the playoff failures, bad ones, that Green Bay still left a lot of bad taste in a lot of people's mouth. And just the way he's running this offense, this looks basic and old. You already got an old defensive coordinator. This looks old and stale. And it seems like the rest of the league has bypassed it. And it's just putting your offense in a bad spot. And then you really don't have outstanding talent at the running back position. You lean on one guy in the passing game. The play calling is suspect, and then your line is playing average right now. So you're putting everything on Dak, and that's just what it is. Remember when I told George, when you asked me what is the identity of Dallas, I said it's Dak Prescott. That's the identity. Nothing else. If he don't play good, Dallas ain't playing good. You see if that defense don't play good, it's a wrap. Especially if you play any kind of a good team that has a good quarterback play. You get fooled by beating mediocre teams. The 3 wins were against Justin Fields, Deshaun Watson, and Daniel Jones. Those aren't quarterbacks that are scaring anybody. I know Justin Fields, but he's still suspect in the passing.
I agree, 100%, 100%.
So
He just got benched.
Yeah. What's going on? So, like, help me out, Jason. With the Cowboys, I feel like what's their money situation like? Their salary cap like? I'm not even being like a jerk. I'm actually
they
totally
got 20.
curious.
I just seen they had $20 million available.
Okay. So, I mean, $20 million, that's a decent amount. But I don't know. It's really, they're not going to be buyers at the trade deadline,
They're not
right?
going to do anything.
Do
That's the
anything?
problem.
Okay. They're not going to do anything.
I mean,
where's all the money
just-
tied up, though? Like for real, I'm not even
it's
being a
tied
jerk. I
up
mean,
in
like Dak's
see, that's what I'm
good.
saying.
CeeDee Lamb's good. Who else is getting
No,
paid
see-
over there? Who? Yeah.
I'm saying they set the team up for failure, and then they'll put it on. Well, we signed Dak, we signed CD. See, we did that, and it makes them try to look good. But as I told y'all before, I've been going through these drafts, and everybody's Dallas draft's good. Dallas draft's okay, because I've been going through those drafts. A lot of those players that they drafted since 2016 are not on the team. A lot of the players that they said that are re-signing on the second deals aren't there. You're top heavy with your talent. You don't really have that depth. It's not adequate. And the guys you are putting as depth are patchwork guys. They're guys that are over 30. These are guys that are downtrending. They're not uptrending. You don't want to spend money. I just talked about undrafted rookie free agents or undrafted free agents play in Dallas. Not only play, but they play a lot. So what does that tell you? You know, you kind of live off that. You have to be a miracle worker to find the talent because you're not spending money in free agency. So you must hit on the draft. If you don't hit on the draft, and you're playing these other teams that are maybe drafting good as you or whatever, but they're getting some key free agents or they're doing what they need to do whatever for that 1 year, that team is going to beat you. And then you combine the coaching because you really don't want to have a coach that's headstrong. You want to have a coach you can manipulate and do what you want to do. That coach really don't have the authority. So then they'll come down to coaching. The players are okay. The coaching is not great. And it gets shown up when you play them tough teams. When you need to win them big games when that matters most, you're always going to lose those. And it's fool's gold. And I ain't falling for it.
I think the thing that hurt most for you, James, is that like y'all lost, but then that injury to Jonathan Allen, didn't Jonathan Allen get hurt?
He told
Yeah,
that's James'
Bruh,
boy right there.
That was like I felt so bad for James. He don't even play for your team.
I think James likes it more than I do, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm
with
like,
you.
yeah.
But you know what's crazy though? What's
Yeah.
crazy is I know the Cowboys, like, I put it in the air. But if Jonathan Allen was with the team like 3 more years, when he got about 31 or 32, and let's say y'all were cutting him then they would get Jonathan Allen. You get what I'm saying? And then they would
Yeah.
trumpet that as, you have Jonathan Allen. No, you wanted Jonathan Allen when he was 27, 28. You don't want Jonathan Allen now at 32, 33. And
So
what they
what-
do is they get these signings, and they're called shut-up signings. I started all that. So you know, they're called
Yeah, you
shut-up
have said that.
signings.
You have said it before. Yeah, you
So-
said it before.
They go after these players that might be a name just to shut people up, say we did it. But it ain't really no substance that's going to help the team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll see. Jonathan Allen might have played his last game in DC. All for real. He tore his pec. He has $17 million cap hit next year, no guaranteed money.
Oh, he's
so
gone.
if they cut him, we get $17 more million. And guys, that's something that can maybe be our next transition. Who do you think is the healthiest team moving forward? I think we all know the answer to that. The Washington Commanders have the number 2 salary cap space going into next year, 4 picks in the top 100 and 9 picks moving forward. And that's before we even cut Jonathan Allen. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. What's the long-term perspective over there, Joe? How you feeling over there in
Oh, we
Philadelphia?
good. We got Howie. All things are possible through Howie. I mean, this
You still
year,
believe?
at the end of the day, realistically, our whole core is signed. So
Okay.
you have Jalen, you have AJ, you have Smitty, you have Lane, you have obviously the rest of your offensive line, you have your defensive line, you have basically your starting cornerback and maybe your starting slot cornerback. I mean, you have basically everything signed
Mm-hmm.
through the next 2 to 4 years, depending on the player. So I think that we fine, to be honest with you. It comes down to just getting the best out of these players. That's
Mhm.
really what it comes down to. You have the talent. Eagles are fine. We are in the market for anything that happens. We can make a trade at any time. We can, picks wise, we have, I think, 2 second rounds next year. We're fine. We good. We chilling. I'm good. I want us to win more, but we have a window. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong. It's not all doom and gloom to me right now. Like, we probably will change coaches, and that might, alter your timeline a little bit. But these guys are all young. You have them all signed. You got Jalen Hurts signed till at least 2027, I think. So I'm good. I hate that you guys are so good right now, and I hate that we're not in the first place right now. But that'll change. That'll change very soon. We're gonna.
But
Who do
see,
you guys play
here's the
this week?
thing, though. Dallas ain't an old team. They're I think they're like the second or third youngest team in the league. So it's not like Dallas is old either. They have a lot of young players. It's just the point of you don't have those free agents or you don't have those
That's what I was
guys
about
that
to say, yeah.
can really, and the coaching. I just think that coaching is really kind of sticking out now. And it's just, to me, you have a defensive coordinator that was your coach in the 90s and you brought him back. That bothered me. And you have a player who you cut and you brought him back. And that bothered me. Those type of things tell me dysfunction. Why are you bringing a player back you cut? It's like when Jason Witten retired. He went in the booth. Then he came out the booth and then retired and came back to Dallas. What? He did nothing. And that's the dysfunction that I talked about. Like, you brought Ezekiel Elliott back for what? To sell his jersey? Because that was the only reason why. And, I mean,
Yeah.
and it's mad respect. His dad was on the show a couple days ago. Ezekiel Elliott's dad was on the show a couple days ago. But I mean, and I have the utmost respect for him. But I wasn't going to be saying Ezekiel Elliott is good or I want him on or he's better for the team because his dad was there. It was the exact opposite with that. I was still standing on what I felt about Ezekiel. He's a distraction. He never should have been brought
You
back
told him
to the
that?
team. And the only reason why he was brought back because of Jerry, because Mike McCarthy don't play him. So that should tell you Mike McCarthy didn't want him. That was a Jerry move. And that's what I'm talking about. Where the call comes from up top, call comes from up top in Dallas.
What does his dad think about everything, James?
What do you say?
What does his dad think about everything? What does his dad think about being in Dallas and
I mean, his
not
dad
having
gonna be
playing
his
time and all
dad.
that?
His dad gonna defend him. His dad said, it's opportunities. It's opportunities. And I don't think it's just opportunities. Yeah, he might be decent on his opportunities, but it's not gonna be anything that's gonna help Dallas get over the hump. Not them opportunities. That is past now. You have to get other backs in there that are future backs. Backs are gonna be dynamic. You don't have that. You had 2 years to get that, and you did. And when you had the opportunity this year to do it, there was a lot of good backs, and you didn't do it because you signed Ezekiel right before the draft, I believe. And once they did that, it was like, oh, we got Zeke. We don't need to have to look for a running back. And that was a mistake.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because, like, that's why the Cowboys are going to be, once you get to like week 3, that's who the Cowboys are. Like that's who you're going to be for the rest of the year. You're not going to go out there and get free agents. I've done this show long enough with James. I've asked him every year the same question around the same time. What are you guys going to do? The Cowboys don't do that. The Cowboys, and he's right. Every single year, they seem to just not want to do free agency. They don't select for certain positions. So it is what it is. I look at them and I'm like, hey, my biggest thing for them as far as the future, they may be young. You have Dak Prescott, who I think is a very good quarterback. I do. But you still have to add around him. And how are you going to do that? You're just going to hope you draft another CD Lamb. You're going to hope you draft another Zeke in his prime. Like, that's the only way. So, like, I don't know. I until I see like what's coming out next. Like maybe you guys are not, not to take a shot, but if maybe you guys are bad enough this year that you get another CD. You know what I'm saying? Or you're bad enough to get
I'm cool
another.
with being bad this year. That don't bother me. Like that's people. Listen, I get the super true Cowboys fans. They'll never want to lose, but it ain't bothering me if Dallas loses, get a top 10 pick. You got enough talent on the team. If you got, it's kind of like the year when 2014 we had that really good year, won the division, and then 2015 Romo went down. Right, you still had a lot of talent on that team. They ended up having a top 10 pick. Well, that helped them because you were like, the team is already still good. Now you're in the draft up early. Now
Absolutely.
you can really
Mhm.
rack up. So you got enough talent on the team and young players that if you were top 10 across the board, you could be right back in the mix. But once again, if that were to happen and you say, hey, let's just do the rebuild, it's okay. You got to get the right coach. You got to get some better players. You still got to get a few in free agency, and you got to have all that mesh. And then the owners got to sit back and take a seat and say, all right, you got this. And this is what I be trying to tell people. The more people that say, Jerry, you ain't the GM no more and want him fired, the more he's going to dig in the dirt and say, no, I'm not going to quit. I'm going to go even harder to prove. And it's just doing the exact opposite. And the only way it's really going to change is when he removes himself out the picture or something else does, because, dog, unless they take a seat back, if they continue to do it this way, they're always going to be competitive. They're always going to have good records. But when it comes to winning the big games when it matters most, these things will continue to happen. I don't care what nobody tells
Joe James, didn't Steve like his son? I thought was more involved in
me.
the
Yeah, Steven,
personnel and doing all
he
that.
just
Yeah.
he terrible. You feel me?
Okay.
Like nobody likes him.
Oh, for okay, I know that.
He's
Okay.
he's the one that's the penny pincher. So
Okay.
every time he talks cap, and we get it. We understand the cap. We understand it. You talk about it as a reason why you can't never do anything. He always puts the cap in things, and it makes the excuse maker. Well, we couldn't do
Mhm.
this because we had to sign them. I don't hear them other owners talking about that. Only other owner I see talking like that is Mike Brown from the Cincinnati Bengals, and he's just
Mhm.
like Jerry, owner, team president, all that, and that's why they were in futility for so
Good
long.
point.
He
Okay.
he brought his stepdaughter in, let her take over. He took a back seat. What happened? They went to the Super Bowl. It's
Mhm.
real. You in the way, dude. You're 82 years old. Nobody's listening to you any longer. You
Mm.
think you're relevant. You're not. You think you're a football man. You're not. I've showed the drafts that they haven't been great. Free agency hasn't been great. It's just the fact that you hit on a few. You get what I'm saying? And we also got to look at the divisions haven't been tough where you can't win these games. So it's not like the NFC has been so supremely dominant where you could have a regular team and still couldn't win. You get what I'm saying? So it's not like Dallas had inordinately better talent than everybody else. It's just the fact that the playing field was kind of level and you had those few players that could take you over the top. But once again, you get in the way and those things fester and then disappointment happens.
Yeah, I'm disappointed for y'all.
I speak the truth.
Now you
Now,
do.
you stated on business.
You
I already knew
also
what was going to
the
happen.
chat's blowing you up. They got you back on that too.
I already knew what was going to go down, and honestly, seeing like everybody in the comments, like Cowboys fans, and I mean, y'all know what's going on, bro. Like, I respect that because a lot of people are gonna be delusional. Hey, no, we ain't bad. But I think y'all gotten to the point with Jerry that it's like, all right, man, what the F? You know what I'm saying? But shout out to everybody in the chat. We got over 275 people in the chat. Be sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe wherever you are. If you're on Twitter, hit the like, retweet it, do all that good stuff. Follow your boys. But yeah, appreciate y'all. So let me ask you, George, because you've been bashing my boy James, man. You know he's going through it right now. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Right? No, what's the next step for Jaden Daniels? Because what everybody's gonna say is who have you played? Who have you played? You did have the fourth worst team last year, right? You guys were fourth place.
Oh, the division? Yeah, we're for the division. Yeah,
Yeah,
we're the second worst team in the entire league last year, number 2 overall pick,
you
bro.
have
Yeah.
a schedule that reflects that. What is the next step? Where are you as far as I think the Commanders can go to the Super Bowl, and what can happen to bring you further. You know, does that make sense?
No, I got you 100. I got you 100%. So for one thing, let me put it out there, right? I know we're getting flack for our schedule moving forward, but all of us play the same games. Y'all know that, right? People in the chat, we played 13 of our 17 games are the exact same games. We play the AFC North, we play the NFC South, right? All of us do that. So we're playing the exact same. Like you guys played the Browns, you guys played the Buccaneers. We're all doing that same thing. So we have common opponents. That's step one, right? Step two, Jaden Daniels, I'm impressed. He's exceeded my expectations. We talked about it all offseason. We've been on the show for a while now. Going into the preseason, it was like, you know what? I'm seeing good things from Jaden Daniels. My fear with him was I thought he was going to be more of a scrambler and not like his not coming out of college, as you guys both know, because you guys are both smart football guys, is at LSU, he would take off and run as opposed to looking downfield to throw. And we're now starting to see that evolution, which is kind of scary, which is actually making us really happy over here in DC. Game one against the Buccaneers, he was taking off and running. There was open shots downfield to Terry. He wasn't taking those shots. Against the Giants play ugly. I think the Eagles play the Giants next. You guys are going to win that game because you guys are more talented. But I tell you right now, it's not your fault. It's the Giants' fault. It's going to be the ugliest game of the week. It's going to be like a 17-16 crappy game because the Giants just muck games up, and it's just nasty. That's what they do. They did it to you. They did it to us. They did it to the Cowboys. That's how the games are going to be. It's going to be an ugly game. You guys are barely going to win, and that's just how it's going to be. With Jaden Daniels, I think we're a good team. I'm level. I'm trying to be level. I don't think we're going to be a Super Bowl contender. You really have to blow up and be on top. I think our defense is going to be our Achilles heel. Our defensive backs are the worst in the division. I think we have one of the worst defensive backs in the entire group. Emmanuel Forbes, you talk about it over and over again. Let's make a trade, y'all. You guys can have Emmanuel Forbes. Give us something back. Give us Micah Parsons.
Give you Jahan Dotson back.
Thank you for Jahan Dotson. I appreciate that. Thank you for that pick. I was mad about that too. I'm so happy about it now. Emmanuel Forbes is killing us, dude. So Jamin, Ron Rivera was the worst talent evaluator over here in DC. He's crushed it, dude. We only have one. I think we only have two people from our pick from last year, our 2023 draft class. Only two remaining people on our roster still, Quan Martin and Emmanuel Forbes. Emmanuel Forbes was a healthy scratch last week. We didn't even play him because he's a liability in the run game. He doesn't play special teams. He's quick. He's supposed to be a ball hawk. He only had one interception so far in his whole career. So he's a liability. I think what's going to happen is people want Washington to buy. They want us to be buyers at the trade deadline. November 5th, the trade deadline. I don't think it's going to happen. I think what's going to happen is next year we're going to be patient, just like what we saw with the Texans and getting Stephon Diggs and trying to buy a high-profile wide receiver. I think that's our next step. I think we're going to be a playoff team. I think we're going to win the division, fellas. I really do think we're going to win the division this year, and I think we're going to maybe even win the first round. But I don't see us being our defense is we're not a championship level defense unless Dan Quinn can work that magic a little bit and see kind of turn around with it. I don't know how y'all feel about that.
They're not going to win the division. I will say though, I had the Commanders going I think I had them the highest out of me and James. I'm pretty sure I was pretty high on them. Where did I have how many wins I had them going?
I think I
had them at 7 for me. I think is what I had them.
9 or 9 and 8.
Yeah, I think we were close then. I mean, either way, yeah, you guys look good. I'm just trying to hold on to something at this point. When I don't know, man. It's such a weird year. You look at the Vikings.
Yeah, that's why I feel like they're probably going to win a division because it's a weird year. I'm telling
you. Let me throw it out to y'all.
This is what I'm telling you. This is your RG, George. This is your RG3. I'm gonna go ahead and I'll keep saying it. This feels like it.
But we have new ownership now. We have a new GM now, so I'm feeling pretty good. Let me throw this out here. Yeah, I feel you. I think it's our division this year. But let me throw it out to y'all real quick. How many playoff teams are coming out of the NFC East, in your opinion?
1.
You think so?
Yeah. I think if the Eagles don't win the division, we're going to be bad, to be honest with you. Because if we lose 1 or 2 games to you, no offense, man. I'm not trying to be an ass. If we lose to y'all, we're not that good of a team. We're not going to win.
Y'all are going to lose to them.
I don't think we're going to lose.
I'll be surprised if we sweep us. Yeah.
We might lose once. I can see us maybe.
I think we're going to split. I think we're going to split. I think it's.
I don't think y'all sweep. I think we could sweep. I think we will sweep y'all, to be honest. But we'll see. We'll see. I guess that's why you play the games, right?
What's your passing defense looking like? Is it pretty good? Not really, right?
It's getting better. It's getting better than now that we got Cooper DeJean in there. Now that we got, Quinyon Mitchell has been balling the hell out.
You lucky that they had Deshaun Watson.
Bro, our pass defense has been all right, even in our losses. Yeah, one game. What was the game that we gave up a lot of points? We gave up a lot of points in like one
The
game.
Saints, right? Or no, that was a different.
Nah, we
That was
actually
the, that
did
was the
all right against
Cowboys.
the
That was
Saints.
the Cowboys with the Saints.
Yeah, that
Sorry.
was the Cowboys. I'm trying to hold on. Give me 1 second because I know there was one game that our defense really sucked.
Buccaneers.
Yeah,
No.
Buccaneers. The defense was
Okay.
trash.
Okay.
Buccaneers,
And the
they were
Packers.
just
And the
bad.
Packers too, right? Wasn't the Packers?
I
We
mean, the
won that
Packers
game.
was we won
Okay.
that game, but the Packers game was like everything was kind of
Jordan
weird.
Love was doing what he wanted.
Bro, we were slipping all around. And he really wasn't. I think he only
And so
passed
were
like
they.
50%. I think he had like 50% completion percentage. I could pull up the numbers real
You got a
quick.
good front you can be thrown on, and you can be ran on. Like y'all can. Like this is no hate. Y'all can be run on, and y'all can be thrown on. And it's a situation where, like you said, Joe, y'all need to run that ball. I mean, you got AJ Brown, you got Devontae Smith, but y'all got Saquon Barkley. Y'all really need to use that asset because it's going to continue to open the game up for those other guys. Y'all run that ball. But like I said, Kellen's a goofy, and he'll run that ball, but he's going to throw the ball when you don't want him to throw the ball. That's when he's going to throw it, and that's what's going to make you mad. And that's what's going to get you frustrated later in this year. You'll see what I'm talking about.
I mean, if Nick Sirianni ever lets him call a play, I guess, or I don't know. It runs deeper than just
And
Kellen.
he's fired.
I've been mad about this offense for a while and defense. You even look at Vic Fangio. He's the same. Obviously, he's the one that created this scheme, but we've been chasing this old man for like the past 10 years. It's disgusting. Like, how do you go from how you go from Johnson to what's it called, to Vic Fangio's defense? You go from one of the toughest, hard-nosed defensive coordinators in the history of the NFL. Yeah, you go from guys like Buddy Ryan to a guy like Vic Fangio that literally tells your players, "Hey, yeah, make tackles on the island. You got this. You weigh like 160. You got this, right? You played cornerback your whole life. You can go knock that guy down. That's like 250. You got him. Go ahead. You got it." And then he's surprised when people miss tackles. He gets Bryce Huff, who says, "No, I like being in a 4-point stance." He says, "All right, well, go cover Justin Jefferson real quick. See how that feels. See how that feels. Real quick. Go cover Chris Godwin real quick. See how that does for you."
How's Huff doing, by the way? I haven't been keeping up. Has Huff been doing all right? How's he doing?
Been doing terribly.
Okay.
We finally put him in a 4-point stance. We finally let him get his hands in the dirt last game against the Browns. And we can say it's the Browns, but he looked better. He looked more explosive. He looked like he actually wanted to play. I mean, we're asking these, and he even said it in an interview. I think it came out yesterday. He straight up said, he was like, I like being down in the dirt. I like coming out of that stance. I think that it is better for me. I'm more used to it, but I have to do what the scheme says. Vic, if he's telling you, you can get more out of me if I do this, why not do that?
Yeah.
Because he's a player and that's the coach. And like
That's
you said, them old
stupid
schoolers
system.
don't listen.
Yeah,
Most
OG
stupid.
doesn't listen. Yeah, he's stubborn. Yeah.
Oh, yo, a stupid system. And we were supposed to be getting players. Like, I will say, when you look at Quignon, when you look at Cooper DeJean, when you look at I'm spacing Zach Bond, when you look at those three guys, and those three guys, I guess, are Vic Fangio guys. Like, those guys are the type of guys they want. I get it. Those guys are super athletic. They're, sideline to sideline. They're going to make the tackle. But you also have 9 other players or 8 other players that are nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I always felt like a coach, if you're a good coach, it's not because you have a great system. Yeah, it has something to do with it, but it's because you can fit your system around any player. You can understand what players can do. And we haven't had a coach like that since Andy. And it's sad to see. I'm gonna be real with you. It's getting annoying, but we'll see what happens. I still have faith. I think that the Eagles will figure it out. I think the Eagles are backed into a corner. I think Nick and them are backed into a corner. They're gonna have to run the ball at this point, or people are gonna start. We're gonna get to where Cowboys fans are with Jerry, like, because we've gotten there before and we've gotten there with Andy. Like, we are the reason, in my opinion, that Andy Reid is no longer our coach.
Why? What happened there? Like, for me, Andy Reid's the top 3 coach in the entire NFL. I think he is an offensive wizard. I think he builds on speed. I think that the utmost of Andy Reid What happened there, and how do Eagles fans even view Andy Reid now? Do they hate him now, or like
Nah,
he's the one that got away? Like, what are the thoughts with him?
yeah, I don't think it's the one that got away. I'll say that at the time it was much deeper than football. Like his son was,
Yeah, remember that.
dealing with
Yeah.
some stuff. So, and Philadelphia is obviously not the greatest place to be dealing with that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And it was just a whole lot of stuff. We came off a couple losing seasons. We had our offensive line coach, Juan Castillo, become our defensive coordinator. It was just, and then we fired him, even though our defense was actually playing really well. Like it was just a
Messy.
crazy time. Yeah, it was a messy time. Andy had way more to deal with outside of football than inside of football. I think the thought was that Andy Reid would retire or would take time away from football. I don't think that Eagles fans, or maybe even Eagles, I can't speak for them, but maybe even the organization didn't really think, all right, I'm going to go to Kansas City. But I think that a lot of fans are happy for him, especially because we have a championship. If we never won a Super Bowl, we would probably hate him. I ain't gonna lie to you. But even at the Super Bowl, I think we were giving Matt flowers. We were, giving him love, and it is what it is. It sucks. I think that he needed a change of scenery, and he got it. It sucks. It really does suck. Looking back, because I was one of those people saying fire his ass, but it sucks, right? It sucks seeing what he's doing.
Yeah.
But it's the organization. It's the organization, man. I like Jeffrey Lurie, and since we've had Jeffrey Lurie as our owner, we've been very, very competitive. Like we have, but he wants to be a certain type of way. I've been lucky enough to have a lot of Eagles beat writers, people that work for the team, on the show and stuff, and that's what they always say. That's something I'm always hearing, is that they want a pass happy offense. They know that's the way to win in the league, but you can win other ways. You know what I'm saying? You can definitely win other ways. So I don't know. It's just frustrating. We'll see what happens moving forward, but it's right now. It feels like it's a downward spiral. That's what I was trying to say. It feels right now it's a downward spiral because we're just going to keep doing the same thing, but we're going to win games, and we're going to win games we probably shouldn't. And we're going to, at the end of the year, probably win the division, back into the playoffs, maybe go to the championship game, maybe not. We're going to fire our coach. Then it's going to all happen again. Like this is how it works. Our new coach is going to do great for like the first year. First 2 years, we're going to be like, oh, this is amazing. And then it's going to start petering off. That's what we've had since Andy.
Well, I don't know. I told you, I feel like Washington winning the division this year. This ain't no, hey, this is what I feel, and I ain't going to be lying about it. I don't know how. Dallas might win 10 games and might not make the playoffs. It might be that type of year when it's a funny year. You said it's a weird year. It could be a year where Dallas win 10 games and ain't make the playoffs. You just asked George, how many teams do you think for the NFC makes the playoff? NFC East makes the playoffs. That's going to be tougher than years past, because I remember
I agree.
just a few years ago, all 3 teams made it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that happens this year. And like I said, I just feel like when I look at Dallas, it would have to be back then. Just don't see where the firepower, both offensively and defensively, with the coaching, it just doesn't. You can look at you. Joe said it's a weird year. I'm gonna keep beating that horse. It's a weird year. Everything's good for Washington. Come on, y'all. We ain't watched sports. We ain't watched sports enough. When you see people have that, okay, this is gonna be their year. Haven't we watched sports enough where you see teams, you're like, okay, this might just be their year, or you start seeing things fall into place. Dog, come on, new owner, new coach, quarterback who's playing phenomenal. How does that all fall apart in that one first year? It may fall apart the next years after that, but you just look at it from afar. You just might have to eat that, Joe. I know you don't want to do it because it's the Eagles. You got your Eagles people on here, but I don't give a hell if my Dallas people don't want to hear that. You feel me? So what? You don't want to hear that. Dallas ain't playing good. If we was playing other years past, I'd have said, Washington, you ain't winning shit because y'all not good. Now I ain't saying that.
It's going to be hard, fellas.
Good team. They got some free agents over there. That Frank Louvu, I
Frank
wish we
Louvu's
had
a
him.
beast. Nasty.
Eagles fans wanted him so bad.
Yeah, and honestly, we don't have anyone really leaving this year. We got a lot of money going on next year. Hopefully, we get a cornerback or a wide receiver. To answer your question, so I don't know how y'all feel about this, but the NFC North, Vikings 5-0, Lions 4-1, Bears 4-2, Packers 4-2. They're stacked. The NFC South, Falcons 4-2, Buccaneers 4-2, and the Buccaneers have a head-to-head against the Eagles, right? They won that game, right? So that's another one right there. And then the NFC West, I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know how you guys feel about it. 49ers 3-3, Seahawks 3-3, Cardinals 2-4. You got to think at least 2 come from the NFC North, maybe 3 from the NFC North. If that happens, that's maybe 1 from the South, 1 from the North, meaning only 1's coming from the East, maybe 2. So we got to see how that plays out, man. See how it goes.
It is what it is, man. I still think the Eagles going to win the division. I'm coming off a win and still feel somber, so I'm keeping my hype up. I don't care. We're going to win it. And Nick Sirianni's going to come back at it with a vengeance. He's going to make y'all all eat y'all words. If he wins the Super Bowl, I'm getting a Nick Sirianni shirt.
That's definitely not happening.
Every game, every show, I'm gonna have his face just right here. Like, what up, y'all?
You don't even believe that.
I'm gonna get another dog named Nick.
You don't even believe that.
I don't, not yet, but they're gonna make me believe it.
Not ever. You won't believe it on the outside. You don't believe it on the inside.
Not yet, but they're gonna make me believe it. I promise you that the Eagles are gonna. We have the easiest schedule.
Yeah, I was looking at that. So, you have the Giants, Bengals, and Jaguars next. That's soft.
That doesn't mean y'all gonna win. Y'all struggle with Cleveland.
We better win. We did struggle with Cleveland, but I will say we were a block field goal away from winning that game by like 2 touchdowns. So, I mean, you take away that block field goal, it's a different game. We were pretty dominant in that game. Our offense wasn't necessarily blowing up the scoreboard, but we were pretty dominant in that game. They weren't really going to beat us at any point in that game. So it wasn't a beautiful game, but I don't think we struggled. We just didn't like blow them out, which I'm waiting to see. That's when we go out there and blow out a team, even if they're a bad team. I'm gonna be so hyped. If we go out there and blow out the Giants, I'm gonna be y'all not gonna be able to say nothing to me. I'm telling you right now. I don't care. I'm just waiting for us to like finally play like we're supposed to. And if it's against whoever it's against, you know what I'm saying? So that's why we have the talent. It's about time to go out there and just play like we have the talent. That's it.
Drew said Nick is the only coach in the East that has taken his team to a Super Bowl. Dan Quinn took his team to a Super Bowl as well in Atlanta. So think about that.
Not his team.
Let's put that out there.
Aaron Rodgers took his team to the Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers, definitely not no Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels probably wasn't even playing football when Aaron Rodgers went to the Super Bowl. How old is Jaden Daniels?
23 or 24, something like that. He's pretty young.
He's old.
He's old. He's young, but yeah, he's old as a rookie. Right. Yeah, because he's like 5-year. He played Arizona State. That came over to LSU. So 23, 24, but he's mature. I'll take it.
He's mature. I hate that you're so happy, George. So you guys got the Panthers this week?
Yeah, the Panthers, the Bears, I think the Giants and the Steelers. I think it's our next 4 games, something like that. Yeah. So we're feeling pretty good.
Do we think the Bears are real while we're talking about upcoming teams? I think that you and the Bears are a good matchup. That's going to be a fun matchup.
I think it's going to be a fun game. And I don't know if you know, we got flex. They got flex into the 4 o'clock time.
No, every Eagles fan's mad about it.
You guys have flex back, right? The 1 o'clock. Yeah, so it's going to be a good game. I think the Bears as a team, they're good. I think the Bears and the Steelers are very similar, where the special teams and the defense and the run game is pretty solid, but the quarterback's kind of iffy. I think Caleb Williams is starting to click for him a little bit now, but I think that's basically where it's at. I think the Bears have been winning despite of Caleb Williams, but now he's starting to get it. So I think it'll be a good game, actually. That's what I think is going to happen. Yeah.
How you feel about them, James? How you feel about the Bears?
I mean, you know what? Caleb Williams is playing better. That's a good thing. Bears got a good defense, like for real. Yeah. So that's really what's keeping them in it. They have a really good defense. DeAndre Swift is playing better. They got receivers. But we'll see. I ain't looking at the Bears like, ooh. I ain't looking at them like that. No, because I don't trust Caleb Williams. But defense always keeps you in games.
Yeah, and shout out to everybody in this chat. Like you said, you guys nailed it. Shout out to everybody in the chat. We got over 290 people in the chat. Appreciate y'all. You know what I'm saying? It's been a minute. And it's all my fault. It's really not my fault. It's Milton's fault.
It's the Hurricane's fault.
It was Milton's fault. So I'm not taking blame this time. But no, I appreciate everybody that's in the chat. You guys are absolutely hilarious in the chat, both sides. a somber moment, and I do not think any of us had saw this coming. I if you would have told me at this time, I would be looking at George and just so upset. I wouldn't believe it. But you guys have done what you guys are supposed to do, man. And I'm excited to watch you. And I've said it off the show, and I'll say it on the show. It's fun watching you guys play. I will say that. Jaden Daniels is a good player. He seems like he's having fun, which is just fun to watch. So shout out to y'all. If this is y'all year, I'm not gonna, we're not gonna kick you off the show. I'll tell you.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you, man. It's very nice of you. Thank you for that.
But no, it is a rough year for us right now. Next week, I think we'll feel a lot better though, because hopefully we're all coming off of a win. I know Dallas won't be coming off a loss. So James, you're gonna be feeling good either way. We're gonna be feeling good either way. But other than that, y'all got anything else y'all want to say to the 300 people we have in the chat before we get up out of here? Nothing.
Just appreciate y'all. Thank you for coming on, man. It's good times.
Yeah, I'm cool. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, we love y'all. We love y'all. Hit that like. Pray for the Eagles and the Cowboys and our fan base. We hurting right now.
You guys are hurting right now. It's somber over there.
It is so bad right now, bro. We just want to win. But no, it is what it is. There's a lot more to life than football, is what my girlfriend keeps telling me every night before I go to sleep. That's my mantra at this point. But no, we're gonna get out of here. I appreciate y'all all. Be sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe. We'll see y'all next week. But other than that, that is James, that is George, and I am Joe, and we are the best enemies. Peace.
We're brothers. We're happy and we're